Good morning. I'm not filming today. I was going to go drive my Renault over to Paul, ready to get the work done on that. But I've just been sent this one. It's happening right now. This is happening at 8:53 a.m. So a little bit ago. Wimbledon bus fire. Electric bus bursts into flames on a busy London street. Have a little search up. You'll probably find some metro.co.uk article on it. An electric bus has gone up in smoke. It happened at 7 a.m. this morning in Wimbledon near the Alexandra pub. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that that's probably within the low emission zone. So how much do you have to pay in fines when an electric bus that had to be built probably abroad and then shipped over here, you got all the emissions that are involved in making the bus and shipping it over here. And then, yes, brilliant, zero emissions at the tailpipe for whilst it's driving around. Then it goes up in smoke, causing all of those emissions. Then you've got all the emissions that are going to be caused in the cleanup operation and in moving the charred remains of the bus to wherever it then needs to go to be scrapped. Then you've got all the emissions that are involved in building another one and shipping that over here. So we've got two buses for the price of one because we moved to electric buses to save the emissions. Doesn't work, does it? Doesn't work. It's unclear whether those in the immediate area have been evacuated safely. This was the breaking news. Drivers are urged to avoid the area because London is a third world shit. No, it doesn't say that. Drivers are urged to avoid the area around Wimbledon Hill Road, which is still partially blocked both ways. Something to do with Wombles. 25-metre cordon. Update at 10 past 10. That wasn't long ago. Merton Police has posted on X, the staff formerly known as, it's just Twitter, just call it Twitter, to warn drivers to avoid the area following the, I nearly made the same joke again. Merton Police tells drivers to avoid the area because it's a third world shithole and you'll probably get stabbed. No. There will be congestion as the road is blocked off in both south and north directions. Why would there be congestion? I thought in London they'd sorted out all the... Doesn't everybody use public transport in London? Maybe not. Congestion through Wimbledon Village. An official statement from the Met Police, a Scotland Yard spokesperson said, police were called at 7:23 on Thursday today to reports of a bus on fire at Wimbledon Hill and SW19. Officers from the London Fire Brigade attended. At the scene, the bus had caught fire. Oh, what a great statement. A statement from the Met Police on the bus fire. Yes, well, at the scene, we noted that the bus was on fire, and the reason we were there was because the bus was on fire, because if the bus wasn't on fire, then there's really not any need for us to be there. The bus was on fire, no reported injuries. We thank the local community for their patience and cooperation, as they didn't have much choice, did they? As emergency services work at the scene, if possible, avoid the area. Brackets, because London is a third world shithole and the Mayor of London cares more about emissions than he does about stabbings, which are going up. Lots more stabbings in London than, well, ever, really. And the low emission zones is everyone who's paid a low emissions zone fine around that area, let's say yesterday, should get a refund. They should all get a refund for their £12.50 because that bus has done that. It's just not fair, is it? It's like, how is the bus allowed to do that? But, I mean, I'd have to pay to drive this car. I could go down there and report on it, but all my cars except the Renault would have to pay a low emissions fine for me to go and report on a fire that produced a huge amount of emissions because they used a fuel type that's highly volatile instead of sticking with what they had before or trying to make what they had before cleaner. They replaced it with a new technology that doesn't work. Brilliant. Right, that's number one. Number two, there's been another one. The 10th of January, so yesterday. They're the same time as well. There's a conspiracy theory here, isn't there? Fires starting at around 7 o'clock. Oh, no, different time zones. This one is, where's this? This is in America somewhere. Team America probably attended to help out. But there's a video here. I'll put it in the description and in the links. 7:40 a.m. Residents inside a home on South Mobile Street in Centennial heard their smoke alarms activate and found their house filling with smoke. They dialed 911 because they were in the USA and quickly discovered an electric vehicle in the garage, which was engulfed. Was it theirs? The house is on fire. There's an electric vehicle in the garage and we don't own one. Where's it come from? No, I assume, I'm in a weird mood today. I assume that it was their electric vehicle and they knew that it was in the garage, but they didn't know it was on fire. Well, they did when they went and saw that it was on fire. But the real calling card of an electric vehicle fire, or well, any fire really, is the smoke. There's no smoke without fire. So at the point that the house was filling with smoke was probably the point that they realized there was a fire. Then they went downstairs and discovered that their EV that they own, it's probably leased actually, wasn't it? Because no one actually buys them. They just sort of pay to borrow them. So, okay, it doesn't matter whether or not they owned the EV. It was an EV that effectively belonged to them, depending on the way the V5 document works, because you're only ever a registered keeper, but this is in the UK, so that's fine. Maybe it's different. There was an EV. That sounded like I was starting a ditty, didn't it? There was an EV that caught on fire. I don't know why it caught on fire, probably because of the batteries. Terrible video. January's a weird one for me. The hazardous materials team responded to help mitigate the burning EV with a fire. Mitigate? Why do they use these words? What are we going to do with this burning EV? Well, we've got to mitigate it. Eh? What do you mean? I mean, put the fire out. Can you make the fire go out? Why would you say mitigate? What a strange word to use in this situation. Look, I'm just trying to sound like someone that wrote a press release, but you're the chief of the fire station. Just go put the fire out and don't worry about the wording. The fire doesn't worry about the wording. The fire just worries about being on fire. The hazardous materials team responded to help mitigate the burning EV with a fire blanket. So they put one of those blankets over it that stops all of the smoke. Safety 35, not a band. I assume Safety 35 is like the team that went in, and they had an F-150, America's best-selling car since pretty much forever, pickup truck sort of thing, like an estate car, but less practical because you can't put things in the back because it gets stolen, and they're usually four-wheel drive, so they use a lot more fuel. So a pickup truck, if you don't live in America, is just like a station wagon, but less useful. So that was used to pull the burning Jaguar. Oh, it was a Jaguar. It was an iPACE. It was a burning iPACE. Another score for Jaguar Land Rover in EV Fire Bingo. We haven't had an episode of that yet, have we? Anyway, score for Jaguar there. A hybrid vehicle inside the garage was also damaged. Cool, 2 for the price of 1. The firefighters used a second EV fire blanket to cover it out of an abundance of caution. Chief, how do we deal with this fire? You need to use an abundance of caution. Do you mean we need to be extra careful? Yes. So they used an abundance of caution and they got the iPACE. It was a 2019. It was charging when the fire occurred. And there was a recall issued for the iPACE last year after battery overheating issues caused fires. So there we have it. 2 fires. I'd say one was a big one, but it was a bus, so that was quite big. And the other one was quite big because 2 cars and a house were involved. So I have used an abundance of humour whilst making this video, and that will hopefully stem the flow. Hang on. No, me making this video will hopefully mitigate the amount of emails that will now land in my inbox throughout the day telling me that there's been a bus fire in London and iPACE fire in America. Thank you very much for watching what wasn't meant to be a funny video, but I think that one was probably quite funny, wasn't it? I didn't mean for it to be. Sorry about that. I hope this video didn't cause any offence. Right, normal videos will resume at some point. I don't know when.